Good morning. I'm just out on my run, walk, jog with my dogs. I do like a little circuit. So this is like a hill here. So there's like a road over there, and I just go up the road and do like a little circuit around. It's good for the dogs and good for me because I can run on the road and they can run around the terrain. Um, and I was just thinking that when I first came to this lifestyle, I was so scared to do things like this because when I'd had an eating disorder for 10 years, as I've mentioned quite a number of times. And exercise was like kind of part of it. I definitely didn't exercise for the fun of it or for the high. I really just, I suppose I did in some ways, but I mainly exercised because I'd eaten a lot the night before, binged out or something, or if I was going somewhere and I felt I needed to lose weight, that's when I exercised. But it's only now that it's taken, I would say, 7 months on the lifestyle to realize that, okay, I've got my food aspect of this lifestyle, sorted, and I can now work on other things. Because when you're in an eating disorder mentality, the food is everything. Food is your friend, food is your comfort, food is your company, food is your life. Everything, every day you spend thinking about food. I think if you're in an an eating disorder for quite a length of time, a year, a couple of years, you know what I'm talking about. You know that kind of, you'd rather spend time with a big bowl of ice cream or a loaf of bread or something than with people. Which sounds awful, but yeah, that's just the mental. And I'm not saying that now, I wouldn't rather spend a bit of time with a bunch of bananas than some people, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, food is like absolutely everything, and it's only now that I kind of realize that the food is like really just, it's fuel, and you want a good source of fuel. Obviously, you want a good fuel for your car, which I have, but that's all it is. It's fuel. You can't, it just helps you to drive everywhere. And now that I have the right fuel and I can drive everywhere, then I want to drive everywhere. I want to see things. I want to do things. So I think that once you're like 6, 7 months into the lifestyle, and you feel you understand the food, you understand what food suits you, what foods you like. You don't get stressed out about cooking your meals anymore. You don't get stressed out when you go into a supermarket. You know exactly where you need to go, what you need to get. You know how to spend ages on a recipe, and you know how to spend 2 seconds on a recipe, good snacks, all those things. When you've figured all that out, then I think that it's time to start looking at fitness, and move away from food. Obviously, food will always be there and always keep that knowledge there, but I think that you need to start focusing on your fitness. Well, that's what I find. I don't know anything about fitness. I know a lot about food at this point, and I don't even know what a power meter is. I keep hearing that word, but I've never actually looked into what the fuck is actually a power meter. I think it's only to do with bikes, but I don't know. And I don't know what these watches that, I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea about fitness. I have no idea about your heart rate, anything like that. So that's the next box I want to take. I want to, I'm in the process of getting a bike. It's a very long process getting bikes, apparently. Well, I suppose when you're spending this much money, it kind of has to be a long process. But anyway, it's a longer process than I had imagined it would be. Anyway, so yeah, fitness. That's just the next thing that I want to do. That's the next box to be ticked. And I think mentally it's going to be something. I feel now that it is mentally something that I need, because I find myself getting when you start fueling yourself with the right fuel, all these fruits and all these bananas, you kind of have to get them out of your system. I don't know how to describe that. It's you're full of all this adrenaline and all this energy from those kind of foods, and you need to go out and run. And although my fitness is pretty bad, it's not bad because I've always kept some level of fitness, but it's not good by any means. I find that it's tough, it's hard, but like it's just gonna get easier. Just gotta keep going, because it was hard with the food as well, you know, when I first started. So yeah, I think that like I'm not like on the road to like being the perfect vegan or even the perfect person, but like I'm trying to make my life happier is the wrong word, like more meaningful and more, you know, I kind of come to realize that it's the simple things that make me happy. It's the simple things that I assume make most people happy. And I think that fitness can be a huge part of your happiness, a huge part of your, happiness. That's the only word I can use to describe it. And I want to be super fit and running around, because I've got like a super duper fit husband and a seriously fit sister as well, and she always comes over here and visits me, and she's like running around like a lunatic, and I really want to be able to do all that sort of stuff with her. So yeah, Sophia, I'm going to be super fit too, I promise, and we're going to do that fucking triathlon next year. Yeah, apparently I'm doing a triathlon. Oh my lord. Okay, so fitness is the next step.